Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, good morning. And as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. And then let me get everything live. All right. Beautiful. And then let me pull this up on my phone. All right. Okay. So, good morning. Good morning. It's just trudging right along. I mean, New Year's is just right around the corner, right? I mean, how amazing is that? So make sure you say hello as you get here and share the morning with me. Good morning, Wendy. Thank you for checking on me. I said yesterday in the live that I would be doing it at 10 o'clock, and I guess I should have made a post about it as well, but I didn't think about it. So I apologize. Good morning, Carmen. Good morning. And so, I was telling you yesterday that as I was doing errands that the day before, that I kept picking up my phone and um, telling it my phone to make a note of these different ideas and thoughts that were coming into my mind. And so this is another one of those. And because I was looking at, I've got the program that's going to be starting next month, and it's all about, our sugar cravings and our mindset and movement and all that stuff, right? And when I was looking and thinking about that, I'm taking a break on a bus ride to, what is AC? Happy to listen in. Yay, yay. I don't know what AC is. And if I'm supposed to know, sorry. All right. So I'm glad you're taking a break. That's good for you. Good for you. After yesterday, you need some stillness, right? You need a break. And that was what your bingo card was telling you. So I love that for you. So where was I? Oh, yes. As I was thinking about all those things, Atlantic City. Okay. See, that goes to show a lot of times we know what we're saying and it doesn't translate for some other people. So, but thank you for that. I never would have picked that out. I will tell you. So, anyway, a lot of the thoughts that I was having is about this program and everything, because one of the things that has always been a big culprit for me in my life is emotional eating. And a lot of times my emotions don't always cause me to eat. I'm a lot better about it now than I ever was before. Used to, it would be a big feast all the time. As soon as something would stress me out, I would just go eat everything I could eat. No wonder I gained so much weight, right? Of course, I would go on another diet and lose it all or almost all of it. And then I would start all over again and get bigger than I was. So it was just this process that I was going through. And the thing that has come about from dealing with all of that my whole life is that I've begun to see how much our emotions affect not only maybe the way we deal with emotions, we eat, or some people shop, some people work out incessantly to the point that that's all they do. So we all have the way that we deal with emotions. Some of them are not always so healthy, right? And so our emotional thermostat plays a big role in how we show up for everything, because our emotional thermostat actually creates our thermostat of who we think we are. And I've talked about this a little bit before, right? If you feel like from all the things that you've been told and learned throughout your life that the most you'll ever make is $100,000, if you ever get past $100,000, you're going to be losing it. You're going to be overindulging. You're going to be, people are going to be wanting it. There are all these things that are going to happen to take you back to the 100,000. And that's because that is your thermostat. And so we have a thermostat about everything, all the beliefs about ourselves, right? And so let me share our affirmation. Give me just a second to do that. All right. So our affirmation is, I am the boss of my emotional thermostat. By cranking up the good vibes, I spark amazing changes in my life and my business. So, what does that mean? I am the boss of my emotional thermostat. Because, I was just telling you that we have a thermostat of what we think we are. And so, let's say I've know someone who always said that they just had a short fuse, that things would just piss them off, right? And so that's their thermostat. They believe that that's who they are. And so they're going to be, excuse me, there are going to be things showing up in their lives all the time to reinforce how short their fuse is, because that's their emotional thermostat. So when you look at our emotions and you look at a thermostat, so I've shared this before, and I'm sure not the first one that you heard it from, but it's almost like we have a thermostat like we do our heating and air system in the house. You have the air conditioner on, and it's set at 70 degrees. You've got the heat outside like crazy, and you open the window, everything's going to get hotter, but the thermostat is going to keep working and working and working to bring the thermostat back down to 70, no matter what the temperature gets to. It might struggle, but it's going to do everything it can to get it back to 70. And the same way is if it's cold outside and you have the thermostat set on 70 and you open the window, the temperature is going to drop down, but the heat's going to come on. It's going to work however hard it needs to get you back to 70. And we do the same thing with everything in our lives. Whatever we believe is our natural state, what we deserve, what we've experienced, what people have told us, whatever that thermostat is, we're going to be consistently working to get back into that safe place of what we expect of ourselves, right? And we can blame it on others. We can say, well, so-and-so said this to me, and because I have a short fuse, I blew up. We can say, well, so-and-so did this to me and I was so upset, I just had to have a drink. Whatever it is, there is a thermostat that we've got set. And so we can be the controller of that emotional thermostat. We can actually change that thermostat. And this is a process I take people through in hypnosis a lot of times, in our minds, to actually going and physically changing the thermostat and what it means and how it shows up and how we are affected by it. But for today, just knowing that you are the boss of your emotional thermostat either makes you feel gloriously excited or exceptionally down, because why would I do this to myself, right? And so there's lots of times that that's what people say. Well, that can't be true because I would never make this my life. I would never make it where I have this short fuse, or I would never make it where I eat to feel better, right? But it's not something that we consciously do. It's something that we learn and it becomes part of us. And so it takes a little bit of effort to change that out, right? So we can be the boss of our emotional thermostat. So if it makes you feel some angst to say that, then you can say, I am becoming the boss of my emotional thermostat, because we want to meet you where you are. Because if it's like if you're making $10,000 a month and suddenly you say, I'm making $100,000 a month, your brain's going to say, bullshit. And your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, it's going to be like all through your body saying, no, 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 that's not right. That's not right. And it's going to do everything it can to get you back to where your cap is $10,000, right? So if you're in business and you've been making the exact same thing per month, especially as an entrepreneur, every single month, that's what your thermostat's set at. And there's a way to figure out what your emotional thermostat is about your money, your business, and everything. With your business, you can go back and you can look at the last 3 years of your business. If you haven't been to get in there that long, just get however months you've had in your business and take the average of what all of that income is. And that's your emotional thermostat, period. And because if it was higher, what you were bringing in would be higher. And so it is becoming who you want to be, right? How you want things to pan out. So it starts with getting better about your emotional thermostat, right? Because when you can get to this place where things don't derail you and you can just be, all of a sudden it's like ideas come to you and nothing triggers you to go off on these tangents that keep you away from the things that you want to do. Like I shared about the being one of the people that I took the eggs back. Remember, I bought, well, you may not remember, you may not have heard, but I had bought some eggs at Costco, bought a case of eggs because we go through a little bit of them when we're baking and stuff. And when I got home with those eggs, there were about 6 of them that were not good. They were cracked or something, right? And instead of just tossing them away, because it was $14 for the case and there was only 6 of them that were broken. I don't even remember how many is in the case, but it was very trivial in comparison, right? But instead of throwing them away, I took the time to take them back to the store and exchange them. And that was a very long ordeal where if you figure in how much time I spent trying to get those 6 eggs back, very big waste of my time. And so there's a thermostat there, right? That had me believing that I had to go and exchange those eggs. When in reality, I could have just tossed them down the garbage disposal, put them in the trash, whatever, right? And been just fine. So there's a thermostat there that I'm working through because that was something that I didn't even realize was going on within me until it happened. And then I evaluated later, right? So what is your emotional thermostat right now? Do you have an idea? So from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, nothing bothers me, 10 being, I get triggered for everything. And so where are you in there as far as what your emotional scale is? And then how can you make it better? Well, you make it better by cranking up the good vibes. And that doesn't mean you're burying in, I would have baked a cake with them. Yeah, but I had this thing in my head that said, if they're cracked, they might be salmonella. I don't know. Bacteria was just a thing in my mind. So nope, I should have just tossed them because I'm sure that's what they did when they got them. But no big deal, right? 6 eggs? Come on. And over an hour's worth of my time to do all of that exchange out. And, so anyway, so the thing is that we can make all these changes in our emotional thermostat. And interesting, yeah. And the thing that happens is that when we start looking at anything that we're doing, like I evaluated what I was doing with the eggs, right? And so in my mind, as I'm evaluating this, there's a scarcity, there's a mindset thing there that says those eggs are worth more than my time. And it must have felt like, and I don't even know, but the emotional part of it would be that I was feeling that there wasn't enough to go around. So I had to go and replace those 6 eggs, that they were more valuable than my time. And that is not accurate, right? My time is much more valuable than those eggs. I mean, one one client, 1 hour of work would produce more than what those 6 eggs are worth, right? And the same with you. Whatever you do for a profession, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're like me and you're an entrepreneur and you have a profession, the thing is that how valuable is your time, and your emotions rule how we do all these things. So I'm working right now on my emotional thermostat to recognize that I am so important enough. I like that answer, Wendy. So let's see. I have finally gotten to a point where not much really bothers me, not worth getting upset. Yes, yes. I value being calm. I do as well. I value being able to feel that things are easy instead of things are hard, right? But I didn't always feel that way. Most of my life, I felt like everything that I was doing was hard as hell, and I couldn't figure it out because I had a thermostat that was set to where things are supposed to be hard. And a lot of people have that idea too, that if it's not hard, if you're not working hard and sweat of your brow and spending hours and hours and hours at something, that you're not doing it right. But that's not accurate either, right? You have to do you, but you have to figure out what that you is. So as we're looking at our emotional thermostat, we're going to be looking at when something happens or we do something, was it good for us and our business, or did it hold us back in some way? And then when we can evaluate that, like I did with that I spent time that I could have been using to help someone, myself or someone else, right? So it was a very poor use of my time. Once I evaluated that, I thought, okay, so what's the answer to that? So the answer was that from here on out, I value myself and my time more than incidental things, right? So like next time, if I end up getting something, and also I will be opening the box and checking a little more thoroughly, because they're in an enclosed box, right? And so the thing is now I know that I can check the box and everything fine, then good. But if by chance 1 or 2 eggs, 6 eggs are cracked, so be it, right? Or I could have, like if my daughter's not busy, I could have her go do it. So there's different things that I can now look at to help my emotional thermostat to tackle that thing, right? So when something comes up and it's in your face, then it's time to evaluate, okay, so what would have been a better response emotionally and physically, because I physically went somewhere, right? And, if you're a person that says, like the person that has the short fuse, right? And so everything reinforces the fact that they have a short fuse. Well, that's their emotional thermostat. So one of the things is to learn a technique to calm yourself down in the moment. So that could be doing breath work and breathing a little bit before you react. The old thing about count to 10, right? Let's see, what does this say over here? I find myself telling my coworkers to value their time when they work overtime and don't put it in for pay. Yes, and that's a mindset thing. So they have, for whatever reason, they have an emotional thermostat that says they're supposed to overwork to be worth the pay that they get. And it's a thing. It's a here thing, right? I had a hypnosis client. That was one of the things that she did. She worked hours and hours and hours overtime. She didn't get paid for it. And then she didn't have time for the things that she wanted to do for herself. And so through hypnosis, we worked on how it is that she was looking at her time, looking at her job. And then I got it to where through hypnosis, that she started recognizing that when the time goes at the end of the day, that she's to shut it off and then go home and enjoy her life. That she didn't have to bring the work home with her. She didn't have to stay all these extra hours. They weren't asking her to. She just did it because she felt like that was, if she showed them so much value, that her job would be safe. And in some ways, it gave her a reason to not go and enjoy herself. She didn't think she deserved to have this free time for her. She thought she was supposed to be doing it for everybody else. And so after we worked together, she actually started going home when the day was over, enjoying her time. And sometimes her time was just sitting and reading a book or being silent and just enjoying being by herself. Sometimes it was going out and enjoying time with her friends and family. So it really changed things for her. And it was amazing in how much better she felt, because she had been trying to do something like that for a while and never could. She could not break the habit, right? So there's an emotional thermostat that we have that we believe about ourselves. So her belief was if she didn't give more than she was asked to give at work, then she wasn't proving her value, that she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you. So it all comes to the mindset, right? So we are the boss of our emotional thermostat. Whether we acknowledge it or not, we are the boss. So you can't make excuses of, well, I was born this way. We weren't born that way at all. We weren't born with any of this baggage that we have. It's created along the way, and we've got suitcases that we lug with us everywhere. And it's time to start dropping those suitcases off in the lost and found and just letting them go, right? We don't have to continue to carry all of this baggage with us. We can let it go. And, we're about to go into 2025, and it's the perfect time to let that shit go, right? So let's be in control of our emotional thermostat. And if you need help with that, definitely reach out. So now let me share the journal prompt. If your emotions were like a thermostat, what's your perfect success temperature? Write down how you'll dial up the positivity today to heat up the magic in your life and business. So today, spend some time really thinking about what's been going on in my life that seems repetitive. If I'm always falling into the same thoughts about my emotions, if I'm going into the same thoughts about my work, about my business, about my relationships, if there's this habitual thought, then it's time to evaluate where you're at and say, is this really true? And is this how I want things to be? Because it's true for you just because you've been thinking all these things and making all these actions. So it is true. But do you want it to be true? Do you want it to be your life? If nothing ever changed and things stayed exactly the way they are right now, would that be exactly what you want to look back at and say, yes, I picked the perfect thing. I reacted perfectly. This was a joy. So think about it. You get to choose. This is your life. And it's time to be, love it, Vicky, so much. Yes. Thank you, Katya. The thing is that we get to make these decisions. And most of the time we've been taught that they're not our decisions to make. It's someone else's decision. And we've grown throughout our lives learning that. And so it takes a little bit of effort to realize that that is not true. We get to pick. We get to choose. So If things are not going exactly the way you want right now, what needs to change? What is your emotional thermostat keeping you at? Because even people that are exceptionally successful, they have a thermostat, and then they have to do things to break free of that thermostat to get to the next level. And so I shared the other day, what was it that I shared? It was Stacy and several other people say it, new level, new devil, right? Well, I hate that phrasing because I don't want to look at the level that I'm going to as a devil and that there's going to be this devil that's holding me back. I say new level, new opportunities, new levels, new experiences. So each time we reach the tip of our thermostat, where it's set, every time we get there, it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable when we break free and we start moving forward, right? Whether that's with your relationships, your with yourself, your health, your business, your family, all the things, each one has a thermostat of what you believe is fact. That's great. New opportunities. Yes, yes. And so every time, thank you, Katya. The thing that has happened to me over time is I had a level of total disbelief of what I was able to accomplish for a very, very long time. And that was that when I look at the weight thing, I believed that I was going to be the fattest person in every room that I went into. That was what I thought. And when I lost a little bit of weight and I would go into a room and I would realize I wasn't the fattest one, I would feel good, but it didn't take no time before I started overindulging again because I believed I was the fattest person in every room. So anytime I disproved that, I would revert back to old behaviors to make sure it was true, right? It took a lot of emotional work and inner guidance um, through coaching and hypnosis and everything to get to me to a place where I don't feel like I'm supposed to be the fattest person in every room. Now, sometimes I may be, it just depends on the room, but I do not expect myself to be the fattest one in every room because I did for such a long time. And when I released 75 pounds, and I'm definitely not a perfect weight, I will say. That's funny. I think I compare myself to the size of others. Yep, yep. And so I know that it's okay. And when I released that 75 pounds, I felt great. But I started recognizing that I was beginning to hit that thermostat again. And I didn't even know that terminology then. But I realized that it was okay. I can be who I am. I just want to be the healthiest version of me and the one that feels the best. Like according to the size charts and everything, I'm overweight. And I would like to tweak a little bit and get more mobile and more exercise and different things. That's why I created this new program that's coming out, right? The thing is that I don't expect to be the fattest person in the room. I don't expect to be the skinniest person in the room. The fact that I'm in the room just means I'm in the right place, whatever the size of people are, right? And I am being and honoring me in who I am, regardless of what my size is. And I had a program that I did once that was called Body Beautiful. And it was because so many people were so overjudging every aspect of themselves that I wanted to help them see, no matter what their body looked like, that their body was beautiful. And it's kind of like, I love me however I am doesn't mean I don't still aspire to make some changes in how I feel or how I look. That's okay. But you cannot change anything that you don't accept first. That's how I feel, but I know I need to lose weight. Yes, yes. And so join us in that in the 14-day program. You will be happy. Congratulations on committing to the struggle. 75 pounds is a hard accomplishment, and you did it. Yay, yes. Thank you, thank you. And I'll have to share at some point again some of those pictures of me. And I don't even have the heaviest picture because at some point I stopped getting in front of the camera, and I would take pictures, but I wouldn't be in them. And then if I was, I would strategically position myself behind people so you couldn't see my body, because from here up I was a little chunky, but it was okay, right? But from here down, it was like that's where I would critique everything, everything. And there's so much good, Wendy. I see myself as beautiful. Yes, yes. And we can be beautiful just as we are. We can love ourselves just as we are and still aspire to make changes. Because even when we love our business just as it is, if we don't aspire to do something a little bit more, tweak things, get new clients, to do all these things, our business will die, right? Nothing stays the same. You're either helping it grow and be better, or you're letting it slide away. All right. So let me go back to our affirmation. I am the boss of my emotional thermostat, or I am becoming the boss of my emotional thermostat. Whatever feels the most true to you, right? And you do it by cranking up the good vibes. We always need to change and grow. Yes, yes, Wendy, that is true. That is true. By cranking up our good vibes and spark amazing changes in our life and business, right? So it's focusing on noticing what's going on, what can you learn from it, and then bring it in and just accept that, that wasn't so good. But now, look, I have a total different way of looking at things so that the next time, if that ever comes up again, I have tools that will help me to make the better decision. And it's changing our thermostat little bit by little bit by little bit. Now, like I said, if you want more help with that, reach out to me. That's one of the things that I really, really specialize in with helping people make those changes in hypnosis and the transformational coaching. It's beautiful. So if you need a little extra help because you're not sure that you're getting the thermostat going in the right direction or how to make it happen fully, then definitely reach out. All right. So then make sure you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it on a piece of paper and attach it to the fridge, whatever you can do to make sure that today you are reminded that you are the boss or becoming the boss of your emotional thermostat. Your emotions are no longer ruling the show. You are getting to choose how you show up for yourself, in your heart, your body, your mind, your soul, your relationships, your business. You get to choose, right? And then our journal prompt. And as always, I suggest you get your notebook or your journal out, you put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. And then you spend 10, 15 minutes in total silence, just getting in touch with this inner voice, this God voice, your intuition, your subconscious, getting in touch with all of it. And then when the timer goes off, I would definitely suggest to set a timer, because the first few times you do it, a 10-minute sit is going to feel like it's done in less than 5. It's going to feel a little odd, but set a timer when the timer goes off, and then just brain dump as much as shows up for you. If your emotions were like a thermostat, What's your perfect success temperature? Do you even know? Do you even know? So it's time to evaluate. When I show up like this, things feel like ease, they feel like flow, and it feels like things work out. When I show up like this, it feels hard, it feels constrictive, it feels daunting sometimes, right? So, what is that emotional thermostat that you've got around your business, if it's your business that you're thinking of, right? What is the perfect success temperature? How does it look when you have that? How does it feel when you have that? And then write down how you can dial up the positivity today to heat up that magic in your life and business, to heat up that temperature to be the perfect temperature or the most productive temperature for your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. They all come together, right? So I see there's some people over on Instagram watching. Thank you for being there. And chime in if there's something that you want to ask or to say. I won't be on here too much longer, but let me go back to the affirmation because I feel like I'm the boss of my emotional thermostat is beautiful, right? But it can feel like it's not accurate, like I said, right? So if it's I am becoming the boss of my emotional thermostat, if it's um, I desire to be the boss of my emotional thermostat, I decide to be the boss. You pick something that really feels good in there, right? Put that on your index card, your screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere. And then today, really, really play with how your thermostat is. And if you want to look at your business and what your emotional thermostat is for your business or the thermostat for your business is, go back and look at just look at the last 6 months if you want to. What was your average income for the last 6 months? Put them all together and then see what that average comes out to be. And that's what your thermostat is. And if you want to be making more money, you've got to change the thermostat because that will be your truth for however long you allow it to be, right? And you can even go to where you go back like the last 3 years. What's the average that you've made in the last 3 years? What did you make per year? Average it out. What was your monthly income? And that is your thermostat. That's where you're stuck. And then let's do something to change that. It's time. It's time to become more aware of how we are holding ourselves back without even realizing it. All right. So it feels good. It's a good morning. And like I said, this was something that was coming to me with the other day when I was driving around, and I've got several other notes that I put into my phone as I was out riding around. And then they come to me all the time, and sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. So keep growing. Crank up your good vibes today to change your emotional thermostat. Yes. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. All right. So, guys, this has been great. And what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Sunday. And so I will be with you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I won't be able to stay on long because I actually have my sister-in-law that is coming over for me to do her hair. You know, it's one of those things. I promised I would get her in over before the new year, and that was the only day I could fit her in. So I'm actually going to be working in the salon tomorrow, but it's going to be great because I don't see her that often, and I get to, it's actually my ex sister-in-law, but she's still part of my world and a great person. So I enjoy visiting with her. So I will be actually helping her tomorrow. And, like I said, you guys, I would love to have you. Thank you. You're always a great session. Thank you, Carmen. Anybody that wants more information about the upcoming program for the mindset, the sugar, the movement, it's going to be on fire, and I can't wait to get started. So anybody that starts early gets a free hip skirt that will be coming in from Amazon in the mail, and you get extra little things prior to the sessions where they actually officially start January 6th. And so we will be doing so much to get you into that place of being able to shake your sugar cravings and just shimmy your soul. This is the Break Free from Sugar Cravings Master Belly Dance Move and Transform Your Confidence. And it all happens for $187. And I have a coupon code to give you $20 off. So if you want that, just definitely let me know. But I will try to remember to go back, or I will remember to go back and put it in the comments because I want to get as many people as possible to be part of the pre sessions. And we're going to be doing some Zooms and some amazing things as I find out what people are struggling with the most so that we can make some changes, right? And so definitely dive in and become part of it because it's going to be so amazing and fun. All right, so happy Saturday, Wendy. Happy Saturday. So like Wendy so eloquently said, crank up your good vibes today to change your emotional thermostat. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m.